Hi everyone, it's Tracy here from Art Fiber Stitch. I'm planning on making something from paper and putting it in my paper art journal. We're going to start with the paper side of things, and at the end we'll probably add a little bit of stitch. So my plan is to do something that flows from one page to another. Paper art. I'm going to put it in my paper art journal. And what I've done is look at a palette. I've grabbed bits. Some bits are see-through on the edge, have a nice torn edge. There's some music, lots of blues. I'm wanting to do a bird in it and some sort of foliage, I know that much. So what I did was I just grabbed out some blues, all different kinds, a whitey grey colour, music. This one's a nice kind of a web. This one's tissue paper. There's a doily. This one here is a see-through one as well. And I just thought I'll come up with something. But that's my starting point. Some pretty things. So can you see how I've gone from a neutral here through browns, a little bit of green and the blues. That's going to be my colour palette. And as I need something to put it on, I'm just looking here to see if anything grabs me. Should I put it on something pale? That'd be alright. Probably not dark, I don't think. I quite like that. That's a good enough. Well, this one's got a doily in it. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half-ish. There we are. That'll do me for now. And then I would look to see, do I like that upside down? Or do I like that like that? And I prefer it like that. If it was the second page, maybe this one should be up like that. Oh look, there's birds on it, so that's good too. That fits in. And then I would look to see all of these things that I have. What do I plan? I plan on having a nice bird. I would like a bird, and I would like a background here that sort of suggests that it's going somewhere. I'm going to start with looking at something like this. I like using tissue paper because you can see through it, and when you layer it up you get a couple of different depths of colour. I like that too. But what I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm just going to cut out some sort of leaf shapes or something. Now, can you see these little leaf shapes? I've got some. I think it could continue over onto this page a little bit. We could put something like that in. And where they overlap, they're going to be a more vibrant, a depth of colour, something like that. So I've got a few of them. I can play with that. I'll put them across. Birds. So let's try some notes to continue that as well. And I liked this colour because look at how light we are. This adds a little bit of depth, and it's also got this lovely shine. So I took both ends of that because they had a flat edge, and I tore it, and can you see how it's got these lovely rough edges? So I'm going to put one there and one there, and you can see how that picks up the light. So that's quite nice. That's a good start. So that's my idea, and the bird will go over here and it will continue across. What I'm bringing in is some water and some PVA white glue. I'm just making a little bit for now, and I'm not sure how much water I want with it. Later on I'll want some that's thicker. I'm just going to take some of this and put it in the center here, and that's very watery then. And I'm just going to do that. I can go underneath it and on top of it to make sure it'll go through. I will trim that later. It's not a problem. Oh, down there. And I'm pointing them in different directions rather than just straight down, and that makes it look more realistic, I think. There we go. I didn't make the glue too wet, I hope. I'm just putting on some of the stronger glue here, see, because I think this needs more glue than water, because it's a thicker paper. No, not upside down, don't do that. Whilst I'm at it, we'll do these bottom pieces. I'm using a little bit of water on my brush and a little bit of the other, because I don't want to I don't want to mix it all up, because I want sometimes thicker, sometimes thinner glue. Alright then, pop that there. And this one here. You can see where the glue is wet there, and it's changed the colour, but it'll dry. I might just pop that aside for a little while and think about what else we want to put in. Well, I did have this. It's been painted with a pearly kind of shimmer to it. So I'd probably add it in here, something. There's a pretty background, just half of it. We will be having our bird over it, and we're still all very much in the same colour range. That'll go there. I'm going to pop it in as well. I'm not going to be too worried. I'm going to add some stitching to this anyway. This is just like tacking it down. It's not dry, but I like to see them side by side to see what they would be like. And we've got all of these lovely blues and things that I'm going to be using. Gosh, I love this. To think about what I want to do out of that. It is very interesting to just tear it. I'll just see. Could they make little flowers perhaps? But if I do one, I'd want some, so I'm going to put a couple in, I think. Do I want one down here to balance it? I don't know. I'll take this off. That could be in a corner. And I could put a little bit over here. I'm going to use a thicker glue. and go through the whole lot. Now if it wasn't wanting to stick, and it won't worry me if it does because I'm going to stitch as well, but then I would lay plastic over it and I would weight it down. Plastic is to stop the glue from sticking to whatever you're weighing it with. I can see a picture building. I'm going to make these into something like a dandelion head or something, I think. That'll be pretty. But I've got this green as well, so I'm just going to cut it or tear a bit off and just see. That would be quite nice actually as a leaf. Now because it's here, I may as well try some of this vellum. I like our blue leaves because they're sort of shadowy. You know, could we also do some green? Possibly. As I'm cutting and placing these leaves where I want them, sometimes I want to change the direction of them, so I allow them to go outside the edge. And now I can trim back. Now to save myself a bit of effort, I'm going to just use this thing, block of wood, that's already in a nice birdie shape. I'm sure you'll find ones online, or you can copy some other bird or make your own up. But I just thought I might use this as a pattern and go around it with a pencil and then cut it out. Maybe not the feet, just the body shape, and then I'll put the feet in later. I don't think he's all going to fit on. I'll take him like that so he mainly does. We'll use that as a starting point. I'm just going to use pen because I'll make sure that I cut out on the other side of it. There we go. Birdie shape, sort of. Yeah. I'll be quite happy with that. Make it slightly smaller. I don't want to obscure all our background, but yeah, that could be quite nice. So I'm going to leave it like that. That's my shape. Just get rid of this background for a little while. Now I can cut it back later. I really shouldn't be using these scissors, but they're handy and I'm like that. But I'm just going to cut out that like that fat little belly. See, and then I could take it over top of this and I could say, that's the edge of that belly, that's what I wanted. And cut it in like that. Here comes the rain, people. And that's what tropical rain sounds like on a tin roof. What I'm actually doing is just cutting out that little belly shape using that template and just making it up as I go along. So I'm going to use this here and I'm going to use it as a base, and I'm just going to put my pieces onto it. Doesn't matter if it goes over the edge, I can make it. I can do it properly later. Cut that edge. Get rid of that. Cut this other side out. See how I'm turning the paper instead of the scissors. It makes it much easier. And I shouldn't be using these giant scissors. Look at this one. He needs a bit of brightness, doesn't he? It's coming together. think I would like something like that there. Bring in another little colour. I'm going to be putting an eye in, something like that. It's a made-up bird anyway. We're getting a lot of different pieces in, and it's looking bird-like. I wanted to put something here. I wish I had something more contrasty, but I've got this. Does that look sort of wing-like? I'm not that sure. Just gonna see. Oh, it's quite cute, isn't it? I think nearly that's all of its pieces, so I just trim around that template. Let's have a look. We've got our background. It's gonna dry. It still hasn't done it entirely yet. And here's my birdie. I'm just placing my bird in now. It's not quite finished, but I'm going to let it all glue and go away. And see how I've put this edge here against this brown so that it shows up a bit better. That's kind of enough for now. Let me show you where we're at. Here it is. Now I did put this under a weight and let it dry, and I did learn my lesson. This is slightly bubbly, this paper, so next time I would use something a little bit heavier, but it's not really going to worry me, I don't think. And yeah, and this vellum stuff, the green, didn't really stick that well. I put some more glue on, and I've done a bit of stitching. So you can see this very subtle stitching, but it's, you know, it's an extra layer, it's extra textural interest. I quite like it, but I want to do a little bit more stitching. So I've already done that without you, but I wanted to show you, this is a bit of foam. So when you're wanting to stitch something, and like I'm going to want to do something up here, maybe on the centre of those leaves. Here's my pin, and I'm just going to go like that and make a line down of pin holes, and I'll see it here on this side. Can you see that? And then I can use that to show me where I want to stitch, and I've already made my line. Alright, so that's down the centre of that. And that's down the centre of that. What I'm also wanting to do is something in the centres here, and then some lines out. So I was thinking I might just do some little seed stitches just to give it something. You know, I'm just putting holes in. I'll work out where I want to do it later. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's so hard to see, because we can't see through this. We can't sort of figure out where to put our needle up. So this helps. There. And I'm thinking something, I don't know, gold or this. Yeah, that's nice and shiny. Maybe that would do. Just something to pick it up a bit. But it doesn't take much, just that little bit of stitching there. You know, that's gonna hopefully improve that. We might add something else, I don't know. Maybe one over here. See if I've missed any holes. There. But look, I think that's pretty good. What do you think? Not bad. I'm just going to travel up to this one then, and looks quite nice. I've travelled underneath up to this next lot, and I'm going to do the same there. Just some little stitches as I see them, sprinkled in the centres. Now a word about starting and finishing. I like to use sticky tape. Just like when I start, I'm going to finish the same way. It'll hold it nice and flat. So I'll do this one and this one, and I'll do a little running stitch up here, and then I'm going to finish these flowers, and we might pop a bit of, I already had a look, maybe just a bit of black card or something there, or you can stitch, or you can put a button. I did have a button here. Now I don't know what I've done with it, but yeah, something, and it'll show up more if I pop it so that it goes down over that white bit, just to sort him out. Oh, and we haven't done feet. Do we need to? I don't know, maybe. So I've glued that eye on, and I've done that running stitch. Like I say, I start with just trapping the end of a thread underneath with sticky tape, bring it up through to the top, do my stitching, and finish off the same way. And there's the eye on our little bird. We're ready for the next stage. And now I'm thinking about the outside of these little flowers. I'm thinking radiating lines coming out from there, from the centers. So like I said, like dandelions, I'm not going to go to a lot of trouble, but just some long stitches out. I start with some metallic silver. Can't really see it that well. So then I add in some white stranded cotton, and then I add in a thicker gold kind of colour. And I think that those three colours work really well. So I do that on all my flowers. I even add a little touch of blue around the eye there of that bird. And now it's time to pop it in my book. So first I'll check out how they go side by side. It's telling a real story, I like that. And I've decided I'm going to keep that bit of his tail heading off the edge. I can fit it on if I place it right. So now I'm grabbing some double-sided tape, and I'm putting it down right on the edge. Then I cut that piece off, make sure I've gone round all four sides. Peel that backing paper off that tape and place it where I want. Then I'll do the same with the other page. So what do you think? I'm really thinking it's turned out pretty well. I like the story it's telling. And the birds in the background seem to agree with me. So I really do hope you liked this project. If you have, don't forget to press like and subscribe, and we'll find some more fun things to play with. But I really like the idea of playing with paper and adding stitch. And if you keep a little journal for your paper art, you know, this can really be something very therapeutic for you, a lot of fun. And it's a great way to keep a record of your art, like a brag book, and a way to use up your scrapbooking paper. So give it a go. Thanks again for watching.